Hi, have you ever bought a crochet pattern and part of it was too confusing to understand and you wish there was a video to go along with it? Well, this is my first video in a line of lots of videos to go along with some of my self-published patterns to explain and demonstrate some of those more challenging parts. This specific video teaches you how to do the Mosaic Crochet cuff on my family slippers pattern. So let's get started. Here is the cuff on the small size of my family slippers pattern. You can see that the cuff folds over and the back side does not have the mosaic pattern, but the front side does. The cuff actually starts with row 1 on the right side of the slipper, and then row 2 is on the wrong side of the slipper. There's 2 rows of the light color done on the cuff before the mosaic section starts. I have a small swatch here, which is the same as that cuff, but not as many repeats. So here's that first row done on the right side of the slipper, but the wrong side of the cuff. And the second row is done on the right side of the cuff, but the wrong side of the slipper, because this cuff folds down. But we work the cuff from the top to the bottom, just like in the slipper. It's worked from the top down to the bottom of the cuff. Here I have a swatch already started with the first 2 rows. In this mosaic crochet technique, whenever I get to the end of a row and I'm going to change colors to the other color, I pull up the loop, I elongate the loop so that it doesn't pull out while I'm doing the other row of the other color. If that is worrisome to you and you're afraid it's going to pull out, you could insert a stitch marker in that instead, and that loop will not pull out accidentally. So we'll put a stitch marker in here. So I'm going to start row 3 now of the slippers. This is on the wrong side of the slipper, which this actually is. Row 2 is the wrong side of the slipper. It's the right side of the cuff, but the wrong side of the slipper. So to start row 3, I start with a slip knot because I'm going to join with a single crochet. So to join with a single crochet, you start with that slip knot on the hook and just work a single crochet like you normally would. That's in the first stitch. So you can see that I have a right side row and another right side row. And this technique of mosaic crochet alternates 2 right side rows and 2 wrong side rows. The next part of row 3 is chain 1, skip the next single crochet, and single crochet in the next 3 single crochets. So we'll do that. We're always working under the front loop and the back loop of our stitches. This style of mosaic crochet works in both loops. Okay, that's the repeat. Chain 1, skip 1, single crochet in next 3. So we'll do that again. Chain 1, skip 1, single crochet in the next 3 single crochets. This is forming the bottom line, the bottom dark line in our mosaic pattern right here. So we'll do that one more time. I've got 3 repeats across on this little swatch. So I have chain 1, skip 1, single crochet in next 3 stitches. Now on your family slippers pattern, you have more repeats than that to go all the way around the cuff. But this is just a swatch to show you how to do it. Now we've come to the last 2 stitches, and in the pattern it says to chain 1, skip the next stitch, and single crochet in the last stitch. Okay, we've gotten to the end of this row. Now we're going to elongate this dark loop, and we can take our stitch marker out of the light loop and put it in our dark loop. Or we can just leave that dark loop elongated. I like to make it nice and long. And I'm going to put the light loop back on the hook to start row 4. Row 4 starts with chain 2 and turn. Okay. We're going to start row 4 with a single crochet in the first single crochet. Now, this may seem very strange to you, but we're actually going to be doing this mosaic pattern on the other side because of the way our cuff is facing us. So this is the right side of the slipper, but the wrong side of the cuff. So all of our stitches for the mosaic section are going to be on the other side. That's why in the pattern it says working behind next chain 1 space, double crochet and skip stitch 2 rows below. So this is 1 row below and 2 rows below. So we're going to start our double crochet and work behind this chain 1 space into that stitch in the row below. We're always working light colored stitches into light colored rows and dark colored stitches into dark colored rows. So after this double crochet, we're going to chain 1 and skip the next single crochet. We've already worked a stitch where this chain 1 space was. Here's that next single crochet we're going to skip. Then we're going to single crochet in the next single crochet. So that is in essence the middle single crochet of the 3 that we worked in the previous row. So we single crochet there, and then we're going to do chain 1, skip next single crochet. And this is our pattern repeat across. So we're going to start with the double crochet behind the chain 1 space into that single crochet below, that light colored single crochet, and then we're going to chain 1, skip the next single crochet, and work into the next single crochet with another single crochet in that stitch. We're going to chain 1. Now we're going to start our repeat again. We're going to double crochet behind this chain 1 space into that single crochet in the row below, the last row, which is 2 rows below. Then we're going to chain 1, skip the next single, and single in the next single. Don't count this chain 1 as your single. You want to skip that single and single crochet in that middle single crochet. Chain 1, and now we're ready to do the last part of the row. The last 2 stitches are do a double crochet behind into that stitch below and single crochet in the last stitch. Now before you go any farther, go ahead and elongate that loop or put your stitch marker in. I want you to turn over your piece, and you want to see these light colored lines vertically across the dark colored horizontal row. And that's the beauty of mosaic crochet, is you're making lines. So what we need to do is go on to row 5. We're going to place our dark loop back on the hook, and we're going to chain 2 and turn. Now we're back on that back side of the cuff again, and we're going to be doing our stitches on the other side again to make that mosaic pattern. So we start with a single crochet in the first single crochet, and we're going to chain 1 and skip the next stitch, which is that double crochet that we worked on the previous row. Then we're going to work a double crochet behind this light colored chain 1 space into the dark colored single crochet. So we're working behind still so that our mosaic pattern is showing up on that side of the piece. Then we're going to single crochet in the next single crochet, and we're going to work behind this next chain 1 space with another double crochet into that stitch below. So we're always working the dark stitches into the dark stitches 2 rows below. Now that's our pattern repeat. So we start back at the beginning, we chain 1, we skip the next stitch, and we work a double crochet behind the chain 1 space into that single crochet in the row below. We do a single crochet into the next single crochet, and we do another double crochet behind the next chain 1 space. It's very important that you do these double crochets either behind or in front of, according to what the pattern says. Now we'll start our next repeat. We chain 1 and skip 1, do a double crochet behind this chain 1 space into that single crochet below. Then we do a single crochet into the next single crochet. Whoops, we don't want to split our yarn. And do a double crochet into that next single crochet below the chain 1 space. And that takes us to the last 2 stitches. We're going to end this row with chain 1, skip the next stitch, which is a double crochet, and single crochet in the last stitch. Now if you're doing this cuff on your slippers, I want you to turn it over and look at it and make sure that you have all the stitches in the right place. You want all of these dark lines to be going alternating, and you actually have a chain 1 space between those sections with a single crochet in the middle of those, and that's making the squares of the cuff pattern. So if you've got that correctly, then it's time to move on to row 6. We'll find our loops here at the beginning, and we just finished with a dark color, so we're going to be switching off to the light color now. We want to find the front edge of our loop, put it on our hook, and chain 2 and turn. Now it's good to have all of the strands of yarn either on the front or the back of the opposite color. So we could put those in either place. I'm going to move them to the back because they're kind of in my way. Now row 6 starts out with the single crochet in the first single crochet. And now, as you can tell, we're looking at the front of our piece because we did 2 rows on the other side, a light and a dark, and now we're going to do a row on this side. This is actually going to be our last row, but you can see now where the pattern is forming. After our first single crochet, we're going to work a double crochet in the front of this chain 1 space into the double crochet below. So we insert our hook and we bring it out the front, and we do our double crochet. That double crochet is not encasing this chain 1 space. It's just on the front of it. And after that double crochet, our pattern says to single crochet in next 3 stitches. So we've got some double crochets and single crochets that we're working across here with our single crochets in row 6. And that's our pattern repeat. So we're going to do a double crochet in front of this chain 1 space into that double crochet on the row below the last one. Always bringing our hook out in front of it so that we're not encasing it. And do our 3 single crochets, 1 in each of the next 3 stitches. And we're ready for one more repeat. We do our double crochet. We insert it under both loops of that double crochet. This mosaic technique is done under both loops. We have it in front of the chain 1 space still, and we do our 3 single crochets. We're finishing off this mosaic. And the last 2 stitches are a double crochet in the front of the chain 1 space into this double crochet, and a single crochet into the last single crochet. So this is the mosaic pattern in the cuff of the family slippers. The small size has 1 repeat of this mosaic section, and the medium and the large sizes have 2 repeats. If we look at it this way, we can see we started up here and we're going down. So we actually work to this light pink row. We would do 1, 2, 3, 4 more rows per the pattern for the second repeat. And then at the end, there's a nice edging worked around, which covers up the edges that don't look quite that pretty. I hope you've enjoyed this video on how to do the mosaic cuff on my family slippers pattern. If you have any questions on this pattern, please don't hesitate to ask. And if you're interested in this pattern, you can find it on my website. The link is in the video description below. Thanks for watching, and happy crocheting to all of you. Hi, welcome to this first of many Yep,